25,000 of that will just be deducted and to be gone just like that. Hey, can you imagine slaving your life away in another country for years and saving for your pensions, only to find out in the future your UK pensions could lose value year on year? And the worst part is most people have no clue it's happening until it's too late. Even I didn't know. I chanced upon it somewhere. So today in this video, I'm breaking down the sneaky pension traps nobody talks about. We will break down the state pension rules that freezes your income if you decide to retire in certain countries other than the UK, the tax bombs that explodes when you decide to move your private pensions out of the country, and the truth about what happens to your ISAs when you decide to leave the UK. If you've ever thought, oh, I'll just go home and enjoy my UK pension in peace, you need to see this before you pack your bags in the future, because the system is not as straightforward as you think. Hi, my name is Yvonne, and on this channel I share my personal experiences, career and personal finance tips. So I highly recommend that you subscribe, like this video, leave a comment so you don't miss any videos from me, because I have so much coming your way. But for now, let's get into this video.
Use like a magnet, lose won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind.
Okay, so let's start with a big shocker, okay? The one that nearly made me choke on my banku when I found out. It's about your UK state pensions. I'm sure you've also been thinking, at least my pension will take care of me one day. And yes, technically it will. The UK government will still pay you your pensions, no matter where you live in the world. Sounds good, right? Well, wait first. Depending on where you move to, your UK pension might actually freeze. And I don't mean winter in Canada. Literally stops growing. The amount you get the day you retire is the same amount you'll be getting 25 years later. Zero increase, nada, zilch. At least some interests should be compounding on it, right? Your pension basically retires from growing the same day you do. It never ever increases, not for inflation or for anything. To put this in perspective, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two friends, both retiring in 2025, and each of them will be getting 12,000 from their state pensions. One moves to, let's say, the USA, and the other moves back home to Ghana. Now, because the UK has a social security agreement with the US, our friend in America will get yearly pension increments. The interest on the pensions will keep growing the 12,000, and 20 years down the line, that's 12,000 might grow to become 20,000. But the one who moved to Ghana, my darling, the pension has been frozen since the day she landed in Kotoka. 20 years later, that 12,000 would still be 12,000, even though inflation would have turned the prices of plantain from 2 cedis to 20 cedis at that time. But your pension is stuck in the past in 2025, while the economy has danced azonto into 2020 in 2045, and that 12k that looked like comfort money back then now would barely cover your DSTV subscription, and you are going to eat gobe for a long time. And Ghana is not alone. No. Countries like Australia, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and most Commonwealth countries are on the frozen list. Meanwhile, people retiring to the USA, the Philippines, Switzerland, or any EEA country are getting annual increments. So basically, the UK is saying, if you decide to move somewhere warm and sunny, good luck to you. Your pensions is staying cold. And that's how thousands of retirees find out that their pensions has got a hypothermia abroad. So before you pack your bags and say, I'm going back to Ghana to enjoy my retirement, make sure your pension is not also planning to go and relax permanently. So that was the state pension drama. Now let's move to the real villain of the show, your private or workplace pension. Because see, you might think, at least my private pension is safe. That's my own money, right? Ah, my dear, I thought the same too, until I discovered that even moving your own private pension, your own money that you are supposed to have power over, no, it can turn into a whole telenovela. I don't know if we are going to name it Quando Seasmia or Storm Over Paradise, but there will be drama. You can't just say, please, Bank of England, I'm moving back to Nigeria or Ghana or wherever. Can you please wire me my pensions to? No, the UK government will say, my friend, not so fast. Come back here. Where do you think you're going? If you want to move your pensions, your private pension abroad, you might use something called QROPS, which sounds like a disease, but it actually stands for Qualifying Recognized Overseas Pension Scheme. That's a mouthful. Basically, it's a foreign pensions plan that HMRC has looked at and said, okay, fine, this one is not fraudulent yet, because you know how HMRC can be, right? Now, here's where things get spicy. If you transfer your pension and the stars are not perfectly aligned, meaning you are not a resident of the country that the QROPS is based, boom, you get hit with something called the OTC, Overseas Transfer Charge. And it's not small money. We are talking 25% of your pension pot. Imagine your pension is £100,000. 25,000 of that will just be deducted and to be gone just like that. Hey, what tight to cry? How much is your tithe? No, think about it. Oh, my own money that I have saved till retirement. Oh, HMRC is collecting their share. Because of why? Is it even their share? Like, this is stealing at this point. Pure extortion. The only way you can escape this nonsense is if you are living in the same country as the QROPS you are transferring your pensions into. So if you move to France and you open a French QROPS, you are fine. But if you move to Ghana and you open your QROPS in Nigeria, thinking Africa is Africa, please don't do, because you cry blood. And guess what? HMRC, these people are always changing their rules. As of October last year. The old loophole where it says you can transfer to a crop in the EU or Gibraltar without penalty is now gone. They said no more free lunch for you people. But we are not done. Oh no, of course. Why stop there? Enter the overseas transfer allowance. Currently, if you have £1,073,100, please don't ask me how they came up with that number. All they are saying is that if your total transfers ever goes beyond that amount in your lifetime, you pay another 25% tax on the extra. For those of us who want to become billionaires in the future, please start looking for other loopholes because 25% of 1 million is how much? Let me end there. Now, let's use Australia as a case study, okay? Because that place has turned pensions into rocket science. Something that is supposed to be simple and straightforward. No? If you have decided to move to Australia, to move your UK pension to Australia, the fund you are transferring into must be a registered QROPS. If it's not, you could get 55% tax penalty. 55%, two fives together, preceding each other. It's even making me dizzy. How do these people come up with these numbers and these percentages? Like someone sits in their room and say, okay, 55, yes, that's right there. Yeah, you're hitting the spot. Like at this point, tell HMRC to keep the money. Oh, and if you're under 55, forget it. They will tell you are too young for this level of stress. And please don't confuse this with a state pension issue. That is different. Yes, Australia is on frozen list for state pensions, but that's totally separate from private pensions. I'll explain these in my next video, so please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. Because many people mix the two up and end up with an expensive headache. So, moral of the story, before you move your private pension abroad, please get advice. Real advice, not from that WhatsApp group that suddenly people become finance experts. Because the UK pension system is like jollof rice. It looks simple until you try to cook it yourself. Okay, I know this is a lot of complex information, but if you're finding the breakdown useful and it's starting to make sense, please do me a favor and hit the like button. It really helps the video reach other people who have also worked in the UK or are currently working in the UK and need to see this. Thank you in advance. It is also critical to know what you simply cannot move. First, as we've discussed, you cannot move your state pensions. It doesn't work like that. The government will keep paying you from it wherever you are in the world. But the pot itself stays right here in the UK. They don't leave the house, honey. Not even for Christmas dinners. And the second thing, and this one catches a lot of people off guard, public sector pensions. So if you work for the NHS or you were a teacher or you are simply a civil servant, just know that your pensions are also not going anywhere. The rules are designed to keep the pensions inside the UK system. So if you have one of those, your only option is to leave it in the UK and have the income paid to you abroad when you retire. Now, let's talk about ISAs because so many people focus on pensions and they forget about their ISAs. I have this video here breaking down ISAs and what they entail and how it can benefit you when it comes to tax. You can check it out, but the rules here are just as important. The thing is, when you leave the UK, you don't have to close your ISAs. You can keep it. The money stays there and grows quietly. But, and this is the part nobody tells you, your ISA becomes like your ex, right? You can look, but you can't touch. You can't add new money to your ISAs once you become a non-UK resident. Yeah, your 20,000 allowance is just gone unless you somehow become a crown employee, which if you do, then congratulations, because that's basically like winning the tax lottery, right? Maybe I should break that down as well in another video. Let me know. But the real heartbreak, the tax-free status, the reason we all love ISAs, I'm sorry, but that doesn't travel with you. As soon as you move to a new country, your new country looks at the same ISA and goes, oh, that's cute. Anyway, we'll be taxing that. That'll be 25%. It looks like that's the golden number these tax people love. So while your ISA keeps growing tax-free in the UK, another country might see it as an investment account and you might have to pay tax on your interests, your dividends, and even on your capital gain. Basically, your ISA goes from an independent savings account to an international suspense account. If you know, you know. So if you're moving out of the UK, please don't ignore the ISAs. Okay, they might be quiet, but ignoring it might also cost you serious money. If you're feeling overwhelmed with information, don't worry, because I know this is a lot. The rules are confusing. I know when I started saying the tax jargons, it sounded like I'm casting spells, but I've got you, okay? Let me give you a simple 4-step checklist to protect your UK money before it disappears into HMRC's Bermuda Triangle. The first one is to get your state pensions forecast. Start at the source. Go to the official gov.org website and get your forecast to see what you are actually owed. You will also see your national insurance record, which is basically your financial attendance sheet. You need at least 10 qualifying years to get something and 35 years for the full state pension. Knowing your numbers is step 1, because how can you even fight for something you don't know you have? Now, step 2 is to check if the country you are moving to is on the frozen list or not. So before you pack your bags for Accra or Lagos or wherever, check the list, because some countries get yearly pension increases and others are stuck in the past. If your destination is on the frozen list, that means your pension will stay the same forever. No inflations, no adjustments, just vibes. So please do this check. It might be the single most important 5 minutes of your financial life. The third step is to review your private pensions. You probably have more pensions than you realize. You might have an old job, workplace schemes, and one random pension that you might have forgotten about in 2020, way back in 2024. Find them all. Call or email each provider asking them 3 key questions. What happens if I move overseas? Can I transfer this to a QROPS safely? Have you actually helped anyone do this before, or you are just going to Google it after I end this call? Their answers will tell you whether to stay put or start planning a smarter transfer route. And the final step is to get a regulated cross-border financial advice, because this is not a DIY project. This is not like using YouTube tutorial to fix your tab. The rules are very complicated, and one wrong move could cost you a lot. You wouldn't want anything to fall into the cracks. So find an advisor who understands both the UK system and the country that you are moving into as well. Think of it as paying a travel guide to take you through the financial jungle. The fee is tiny compared to what you could lose, because at the end of the day, you worked too hard, you worked too long, and probably survived too many winters to let your retirement money melt away. So to wrap it up, what I would say is your dream of moving back home is too important to let fine print ruin it. And after years of enduring grey skies, train strikes, and intense office politics, you've earned every penny in that pension. Don't let a rule you didn't even know existed turn your retirement into a financial horror movie. I would say try and understand these rules now and plan ahead, so that the money you worked so hard for stays yours, no matter where you retire in, either Ghana, Spain, or Timbuktu. Now that you know about the biggest pension traps, the next video you should look out for is the types of pensions in the UK and how you can make them work for you. That will be my next video, so please don't forget to subscribe, because it will save you from a ton of expensive surprises. I'll also link it here when it's up, trust me. And I would love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know been hit by frozen pensions or a cropped tax shock? Let's chat in the comments, and please don't forget to like and share this with someone who needs to hear this. I'll see you in my other videos.